Have you ever been trapped aboard a ship in a raging storm, walked miles through the desert with every pore in your body screaming for moisture, or felt a deep, aching loss for someone you've never met? I have, because I am fortunate enough to have read a few good books. Today I'm going to give you some ideas on how to begin your own adventure-style short story. Every good story has three key things: a lead character, a scenario, a storyline. One main tip that helps get the creative energy flowing is to have props around you while you're writing. The most arduous task you must complete is the rewriting and editing your story so that it would flow and create a picture of interest. Hello everyone. My favorite part of the short story is the character. I'm going to begin by telling you what you need in order to develop a strong character. This character is going to be your lead character in your story, so it must be strong. I would begin by making a list of characteristics that you wish for your character to have. I always start with physical attributes, work knowledge, past hardships that would affect the outlook of the character, and maybe add what the morals of that character would be. This is by no means written in stone. It is only the first of many brainstorming exercises that I would do to get into the creative mode. For the purpose of this speech, I created a character that I think is interesting. My character is a female, strong physically, about 27 years old. She has a sister, and both of her parents passed away when an outbreak of malaria killed them right after they arrived from England. Her name is Zephyr, which means Greek god of the west wind. I found that when I write a story, I like to have pictures that depict the scenes that I'm trying to create. So I would pick a picture of a woman in the early 1800s, strong characters. I'm a visual learner, so that this picture helps my imagination and starts me thinking more clearly in the realm of my fictitious world. I think you should find out what type of learner you are and maybe incorporate some of those tips to help you with your story. Now that you have a character built, you need to give it a life. Try to imagine what her life might be like, what trials and tribulations might cause her to take on an adventure. If you're writing an adventure story like I'm talking about, finding your storyline is all about giving yourself a rough outline of your character's life and then adding a story to it. This is the main focus of your short story. It is the one main idea that will run through the whole story. The storyline that I have created for Zephyr is that her sister was killed in an accident in St. Louis, and she's traveling. She travels all the way there to pick up her 8-year-old niece, and she's going to bring her back to the Wild West area of the world by stagecoach, where she works on a horse ranch, which then this would be how she's traveling, and I would place these visual aids around me while I was writing the story. So now that you know your character, its life story, and the main idea behind your story, it's time to add some adventure. This is an adventure story after all. When picking the adventure of your character, I would make a list of several adventures and then narrow them down to the ones that you feel fit your storyline and aren't outside of your realm of your story. Ask yourself, what kind of trouble may the character run into? What kind of trouble can your character cause, maybe? Don't be afraid to go overboard with your ideas at first. Make it a little fun, a little wild. You will know which ones fit your character best when you fit them in your story. A few of the wild and crazy scenarios that I picked for Zephyr are that she could be a wanted woman in St. Louis for killing their guardian after her parents died. Or she could be Samantha, her niece is Samantha, and they're going to travel back to the Wild West, and they could run into outlaws. Or she could run into Indians, or she could run into the military even, which could have been crazy. Now that you have a rough draft of your story, it is time to edit and rewrite in order for it to be a completed project. Editing and rewriting are the most important part of your story. That's where you get to add your small details and you really get to bring the life out of your story. After you have all the main things you want in it, you really get to go in and add your own flourishes. So during my rewrite, I could totally change everything up. I could make Zephyr fall in love, or I could change her into an ex-outlaw. I was having trouble with her old gang. I could do many different things with her. She doesn't have to stay in that little box that I created for her earlier. But now that I have given you the basics to writing an adventure story, I will talk to you about it once again. Learning to be a good writer and using your imagination and creativity is a good skill to have. It is a skill that you can use in many aspects of your life. Brainstorming is a fascinating way to rev up the muscles in your mind. You use it when you flesh out your character or your storyline, and when you build scenarios. When editing and rewriting your story, it is important that it flows smoothly and that it tells the story that you want, and also one that your readers will enjoy.